Hi everyone. So I want to talk about this issue of when you start healing an aspect of your life or something that has been troubling or giving you challenges before. And when you start healing and recognize that, to not go into the opposite mode of falling prey to the opposite end of that healing spectrum. So let me give you an example. I had someone recently ask me, they're very much aware, they became through the healing journey, they became very much aware of this whole thing of the poverty consciousness, how they always think of poverty rather than being in prosperity. And it was beautiful that they recognized it, and it is beautiful that they're on a path to change those programmings and the conditioning. But what they do is what we often and what often people fall into trap is that we are so keen to discard that aspect of us, that poverty consciousness in this case, that we actually go completely the other way, that we almost get to the point of not even respecting, in this case now, money, because we are so keen to prove that we're not in the old paradigm, in the old state, in the wounded state anymore. So, I've fallen prey to that also before, where, you have this notion of you are so keen to show that it's not an issue, that there's absolutely no limiting beliefs around money, that you literally fall into the other end of the spectrum, that you just say, well, it doesn't matter. And that you actually get to the point where you disrespect money, where you disrespect that aspect. In this case, I'm talking about money, but you can apply it to anything. So, because usually when we heal, the pendulum starts swinging until we can find a good balance. And that's often what happens. The pendulum swings from the one scale to the other. Or let's say another one was... we hear the call, we're aware that part of our healing journey is, let's say, to spend more time in nature, to commune more time in nature. And then we go completely the opposite way. We get a thought, we have to go out in nature, and we discard everything and everyone and just go for that because we're so eager to heal that aspect. So I want you to be careful of that. And always, to me, there's always like three questions that I can ask to see if I'm really still, because where you want to be is in the right relation with that aspect, be it money, be it nature, whatever you are healing. You want to be in the right relation. You don't want to be a slave to it, but you also don't want to be disrespecting it, because we're in relationship with everything, and right relation is a balanced a relationship that's in equilibrium. And how do we test if there's equilibrium? We test by understanding or really asking the question, is there an energy deficit? Now it's sometimes a vague question to answer, so I'll give you 3 pointers, really just 3 pointers of when there's an energy deficit. First of all, and it's in no particular order. So let's say I hear the call to go back in nature, and something else is happening. I'm busy with something else, and I'm always asking for myself, and this is one of the most powerful questions in any healing journey, is what am I in answering this call? Not only in answering the call, am I responding to my divine duty? Because if you're really sovereign, and this is a big topic, this thing of divine topic, the duty, this thing of serving your highest purpose. Because if you really are keen to serve your highest purpose, you will do it anyway. And it might not be at the drop of a hat, but you might, let's say you part of you being in your highest potential, and part of that you realize is to get in nature. That will be important for you. So if you can always find and live by your why, you will know that it is important. You don't have to. You can either schedule it or you can do it, but it is going to be important for you. Yes, sometimes we need the discipline, but it doesn't mean you have to drop everything and do that all day. It is part of your divine duty. So if you start making that part of your divine duty, or your source, your highest potential, part of what puts you on that path, you will either schedule it, you will do it, it will become important to you. Yes, you might need practices to make a habit of it, But ultimately, if that's really important to you, if you stop and saying, why am I really doing it? It will happen. The second thing, and the second aspect of that is, or an aspect to it, is to be grateful and to respect whatever wherever you are in relationship with. So for instance, in the examples I mentioned, it was the relationship with money. So it is still to be grateful and respected as an equal. And you can just ask yourself that question: am I respecting this as an equal? Even nature, am I respecting and am I responding to the call to be in nature as an equal, with gratitude in my heart and with honoring me and honoring every aspect of what is at play here? Because when we do not honor something, either in this case money or ourselves, there's an imbalance. So you ask that question. Another thing, or another consideration that you can see if it is really in right relationship, is to see, am I actually owning my power? And it's again a question you can ask, sometimes not easy to answer. But if I'm responding to this call, am I still sovereign? Meaning, do I still respond from my power, or am I now completely a slave to whatever somebody has told me? Oh, you have to not think of poverty consciousness now, because then you're just a slave. You still just a slave, just from another aspect. Now, instead of poverty consciousness, you now are a slave to the pressure, peer pressure maybe, or pressure to prove yourself as not having in poverty consciousness. So you're still not in sovereign power. You're still not in your sovereign power. So sometimes just asking yourself these questions: am I in right relationship? Meaning, so is there a deficit? Meaning, am I grateful and am I honoring both parties, of all parties, everything that's in relation? Am I actually sovereign in my power? And am I owning, what's my why? Why am I doing this? Is this part of my path in my highest potential? And when you just check off and just sort of dialogue a few of those things in your mind and just consider a few of those questions, you will notice when there's an energy deficit, when there is not right relationship. So don't fall the trap to go from one extreme to the other. Sometimes we need to do that a couple of times to find the equilibrium, just like as anything switches. But I just thought I'd share these kind of considerations and questions to you. It might just help you to make it easier. And also, I always say, if you're aware of something, you can manage it, and you can navigate it in your life easier. So I hope this helps. Sending much love and joy to you. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.